to have a provisional cast on for your swirly hat because you're going to be sewing the beginning with the end with the Kitchener stitch, but we do that later. And I'm going to show you how to do the provisional cast on. We're going to be using this yarn for the hat. I'm making two just because like that I can show you different stages. So for the provisional cast on, this is size 4 yarn worsted, and I'm going to be using size 8 knitting needles, and for the chain I'm using an H hook. So you're going to make your chain very softly because you're going to be using the back bumps and you don't want to struggle. So you're going to chain. You need to work with 70 stitches for your hat, so we're going to chain about 76, more or less. So like that you don't have to, you leave like 3 at the beginning and 3 at the end. And okay, so let's make believe that I already did my 70 chains, 76, and I'm going to cut my yarn, pass the yarn through, and I'm going to make a little knot on this side so that I can remember which side it is that I finished, because this is the side that you're going to be pulling off later. So now we're going to turn the chain. See, this is the flat part where the chains are, and you're going to turn it. And on this side, on the back part, see all these bumps? You're going to pick up your bump, you're going to pass your yarn through. So pass it through because you're going to be using this back bumps as you're picking up spot. Let's make this a little bit longer. Okay, so now pick up your stitches through the bumps. So this is the next bump. Go there and pick up. So go into the next bump. Go there and pick up. Go to the next and pick up. And let's make a few more, because like that I can show you what to do next. Okay, so let's make believe that I already picked up my 70 stitches, and I'm going to leave the last 3 without working, and so I have my 70 stitches there. Okay, so we're going to knit the first row. All 70 stitches without doing anything. Just knit, and then the second row on the way back you are going to purl. So purl the whole row. Okay, we're going to have 2 rows of stockinette stitch on the right side. There we go. So this is going to be called right side. And on this one here, for example, I know which side is the right side because I put a pin there, so like that I don't have any difficulty knowing which one is the right side. So right there, whenever you see your pin is when you're going to add stitches and take off at the end. You're going to add at the beginning and take off at the end. So this is what we're going to do on row number 3. We have the stockinette stitch here, and now we're going to do reverse stockinette stitch. So the first stitch we're going to purl and on that strand that is in between your first and your second stitch, that strand there, you're going to go in and put it over your needle. So from the back to the front, put it over your needle, and you're going to pick up the front of that loop. So what you want to have that stitch doing is that you want it to cross, so it doesn't leave a void there, it doesn't leave a hole. So you're going to purl the whole row. We can do that again, no problem. So you're going to purl this row, and 3 stitches before the end you want to purl these 2 together, and then purl the last one. Now the reason we're doing this is that we are not doing anything with the first one or the last stitch, because we don't want rough looking edges. We want nice and smooth edges. See, we want it to look like this, so that it looks nice and straight on the edges. So now, row number 4, you're going to knit the whole row. And you're going to be repeating these 2 rows 2 more times. So like that you have 6 rows of each. Okay, so now we're on row number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need to do, again, we need to add on this side and take off on this side. So the way we're going to add, let's do that again. We're going to purl the first stitch and then pick up that strand of your yarn and put it over your needle from the front to the back. And then you're going to pick up the front and purl that part, and then purl to the end, all your 70 stitches, and 3 before the end. You have 70 stitches in total, so 3 before the end you're going to purl 2 together and purl the last one, and then knit the next row. So that's the way this part is done, and I'm going to have the written instructions. There's going to be very clear. So there we go. You knit the second one, so let's do that again, so like that it's nice and clear. Let's do that picking up. So you always have your 70 stitches, because you're making up one here and you're taking off one at the end. So let's do that again. You're going to purl the first one and then pick up that strand and put it on top of your needle. So the long leg of your stitch of that strand is in the back, and you are going to pick up the front and purl that one. So sometimes it's a little bit tight, but pick up the front and purl that one, and then purl all the way to the end, and you should always have 70 stitches once you finish your rows. So once you have the last 3, you're going to purl 2 together and purl 1, and then the next row is a knit row. So like that you have your 6 rows of reverse stockinette stitch. And there we go. So I have my 6 rows, and you can count them because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they're very easy to see. Okay, I want to put a pin to signal which is the right side of my work. And I'm going to pass it through several of them because I don't want the pin to go to the other side. So now I want to have the 6 rows of stockinette stitch on the right side. So therefore I am going to knit 1, and I am going to pick up that strand, put it on top of my needle, but you know the left needle goes from the front to the back. So the long leg is in the front. And so now I am going to knit that stitch through the back. And so like that it's twisted. So now I'm going to knit all the way to the other side, and once I have 3 before the end, I have my 3 before the end, I am going to knit those 2 stitches together and knit the last one. So let's do that again. This is the way back. This is not a side in which I do anything, and I just purl. So purl the whole way. Now let's do that again. So like that it's nice and clear. Okay, so this is the side in which I do my picking up and putting 2 stitches together. So I knit 1, pick up my strand and put it over my needle. The long leg is in the front, and I am going to pick up the back of the stitch, see the back of it, and that is the part that I'm going to be knitting. And then I knit the whole row until I have 3 left. So I have 3 left. Now I'm going to knit together and knit the last one. And on the way back, since I don't have my pin there, I only purl and don't do anything until the next row. So we're going to do this again. Okay, let's do it again, and we are going to knit 1 and pick up that strand, put it on your needle, pick up the back of that stitch, there we go, the back, and that is the one that you're going to be knitting, and then knit until you have 3 left. Knit 3 left, knit 2 together and knit 1, and then next row we are going to purl. And now you have your 6 rows, and you're going to be repeating these 6 rows. So let's finish this one. So you're going to be repeating the 6 rows from the reverse stockinette stitch, the 6 rows from the stockinette stitch on the right side, and that's the way it's going to look. See how it's going slanted? It's going that way. So that's the way it's supposed to look. And I'll see you on the next stage. So this is the way your hat is going to look like once you do your grafting or your Kitchener stitch. Let me see where it was done, because the yarn is here, so obviously the Kitchener stitch was done there. Let me put this a little bit closer so you can see. So see, that's where it was done, and of course you can't see it because it's nicely done. So let me show you how this is done with another yarn. So once you're finished with your hat, whatever amount of, then you have to look for the side that has the knot. Remember that we made a knot on the side of the provisional cast-on so that you know which side you need to unravel. So we take that knot off, and the first one off, and then very gently you're going to start pulling at that, and get another needle that is a little bit thinner, so like that you don't have difficulty picking up your stitches. So you pick up your stitch, unravel, pick it up, unravel, pick it up, unravel, pick it up, and there we go the whole way. Pick it up and pick up and pick up, pick up, and there we go. And that's the last one here. Remember, the last one is a little bit tight, but it's still there. So we're going to pick it up like that. We can untwist it later. So there we go. Okay, so now we have all our stitches there, and we can begin our Kitchener stitch or the grafting. And we have a video on how to do that, but we're going to do it here anyway. Okay, I usually pick up my stitches with a circular needle, because if it's not in the right place I can just move them to the other side. So I'm going to pick up my yarn, cut about 4 times the width of what you're going to be sewing. And so only the first 2 stitches, what you want to do here is that you want to go into that first stitch on the other side, and you want to go in like if you were going to purl, and go into that first stitch, and then go into the back like if you were going to knit. So from the front to the back. Okay, now this is the repetition that I would really like you to learn. So in the front you go front to back like if knitting, let go, and then back to front like if purling, and leave on. Then in the back, purl, let go, knit, and in the front, knit, let go, purl. Again, in the back, purl, let go, knit, and in the front, knit, let go, purl. Again, in the back, purl, let go, knit, and in the front, knit, let go, purl. That is one that shouldn't be there. There we go. Now in the back, purl, let go, knit, and in the front, knit, let go, purl. And then occasionally you want to look at your stitches so that you can arrange them so that they're nice and neat. Yeah, they look okay, because you can always put them back in place. So let's do that. There we go. So we did the knit in the front, we did the purl in the front, so we go to the back and we go purl, let go, knit, and in the front knit, let go, purl, and the back purl, let go, knit. And I usually put my finger there because I am creating a new stitch. I'm not pulling it tight like a lot of people would do, because I really want to create a new stitch, and that's more or less, it gives me more or less the width that I want. So I go knit, let go, purl, and purl, let go, knit, and then knit, let go, purl, and purl, let go, knit, and then knit, let go, purl, and purl, let go, knit. And see how we're creating a new stitch there? See, we're creating that whole row, and it looks very nicely finished, and you don't have anything bulky on the other side. So on this side, we already did the purl there, so on this side we knit, let go, purl, and in the back we purl, let go, knit. That went away, so knit, let go, purl, and purl, let go, knit, and we're on the last two. So we knit and purl, and that is the way we are creating a new row. Let me see which one it is. Well, I can't tell, but I think it's that one there. But that is the way it should look, and you cannot see it here. So that's good. Let me see, it's where's the yarn? Okay, here it is. So it has to be that row in the bottom. See how it is? And you can't tell which one it is, so that's good. Very, very good. So now that you can see, because you couldn't see it the last time, you can see how this doesn't show, and it doesn't show anything in the back. It's nicely done, and it's nicely done here also, because you can't see where the stitch is, where the row is. Okay, so that is where I have my yarn here. Let me put this a little bit to the back, and you want to pick up your needle, and what we want to do here is that we want these purl ridges to look toward the front. So what we want to do is that we want to weave, so we want to go down and up and down and up on those knots. So I'm going to go down and up and down and up on each of the knots of the purl ridges, because this from here to here I am going to skip, which is the knit, the knit part. So from here to here I am going to skip, and then I go down on the first knot of the purl part, the curly part. So back and front and back and front, and I'm going to pull at my yarn real tight because I really want that to gather, And then I'm going to skip that one and I go back front and back front on each one of those knots. And then the next part I am going to skip that straight stitch, and then I go on the reverse straight stitch, down and up, down and up, and I pull and skip that and down, up, down, up on that section there, and I skip the next section and I go down, up, down, up on the next section, and then skip that part there. This is a knot that I had on. I need to weave it in. So down, up, down, up, and skip the straight stitch, and then down and up, go in the middle, but pick up the whole knot because you don't want to pick up only one strand. It doesn't make it strong enough. Pick up the whole knot, even if you have to go in a little bit more. So down and up and pull, and then go to the next section, up, down, and up, and pull, and I am back to where I started. Okay, so now I want to put all the yarn that I have left over, and I want to pull real hard at this yarn, real hard. Let me go into the inside of my hat. I am going to put my yarn inside, and see how I'm going to pull so tight that this part here is going to close completely. So let's turn, put it to the back. You see how I'm doing? So pull it real hard and make a knot. So pick up one strand from one side, one or two strands from one side and then from the other, and pull at that real hard and make a little knot there. So let's tighten that and make a knot. So let's make another one because we want to make sure. Okay, and let's make another knot. I am all for knots. A lot of people don't want to make knots when they're knitting, so I do. I do not like accidents. Okay, so now later you can just, you know, weave these or put them back in place. I'm not going to do anything to them. I'm just going to leave it there. And then I'll weave this and until it doesn't show, somewhere around there, and there we go. And now I can cut that yarn. Okay, so let go of that and see how this looks. Isn't that cute? Now you can put a pom-pom there if you wish. I am not going to do that, but let me show you how it looks. So I know it's a little long, but I like to roll this up like this, and it looks really cute. Kind of tuck it in until it looks like so. Isn't that cute? So that is the way it looks. This is the way it looks in the back. See how cute that is? Like a swirl, like an ice cream swirl. So okay, this is it, and you can make it shorter if you want to. It's just that my ears get very cold in the winter, and I like it. I like these things nice and rolled up. So you roll it once and roll it twice, and of course if you have a bigger head, you don't roll it as much. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching, and And please subscribe and share us with your friends and like our page. And thank you.